Hi everyone, Moona here. If you made it to this video, welcome to mine and Espen's new podcast, 50 Minutes, based on the new show, 60 Minutes. Since the start of this year, we've been playing around with this idea, and it's finally here! Every fortnight beginning this week, hopefully, we will upload new podcast episodes. Each episode will focus on a different book, movie, or crazy idea that comes to our minds. And we only have 50 minutes to discuss it. We hope everyone will enjoy our podcast and that you will all join us on our podcast journey. Today, Espen and I are going to talk about the Australian film The Dressmaker. Espen, would you like to start us off?
Of course. The film was released in 2015 and was directed by Jocelyn Moorhouse. The Dressmaker is based off a 2000s novel written by Rosalind Ham.
The plot of The Dressmaker follows Tilly Dunnage, who was sent away from her hometown of Dungata for allegedly murdering a boy. Years later, she returns to Dungata seeking the truth as she's lost her memory.
Dungata is a fictional town in Australia set just outside of Melbourne. To film the movie, they built a whole town for the set. There's a lot of dead yellow grass, and the weather in the film is portrayed to be either summer or spring. The Dressmaker is set in the time period of the 1950s. Believe it or not, the budget for The Dressmaker was $11.9 million.
That's a whole lot of money. It was definitely worth it too. The ratings for the film were so good that the original novel, which the film was based on, became even more popular, so much so that it came onto the Australian school curriculum selection list one year.
The film opens with Tilly's return to Dungata. The lighting is low-key and dark, and it is set at night time. Sergeant Farrat is the first person to see her upon her return.
Sergeant Farrat smiles at Tilly when he sees her, and through his smile, we can see, as an audience, we can see his true feelings of remorse and thankfulness for her return to Dungata, because Sergeant Farrat was the one who had taken Tilly away from Dungata. Sergeant Farrat also makes note of the dress that Tilly is wearing. What dress was she wearing again? It was Dior or something, right?
It was a Dior dress.
Yeah, it was Dior.
Yeah. He's like, ooh, Dior. This also links back to him later in the film when he takes the accusation for her death. For the man's death, sorry. Jesus.
You're good. It's fine. Yeah, no, Tilly doesn't die. Oh, no.
Tilly does not die, guys. Chill out. There's a man who dies and he takes the fall for her, which links to it because he's trying to redeem himself for putting her through that when she was so young.
Wait, what was his name? Mr. Almanac? That's who it was, right?
Mr. Almanac, yeah.
Yeah, it was Mr. Almanac.
I just wanted to touch on the director, Jocelyn Moorhouse, who is best known for her work on this film.
That is true. She is actually best known for her work on this film.
Yeah. Throughout all her films, she puts lots of meanings and, like, hidden symbols all throughout it, and uses mise-en-scenes and costumes to kind of heighten, I guess, that... How do you explain it?
The feeling and the vibe of the set and the film. Yeah, an example of the symbolism which you mentioned are the fabrics and the costumes in the movie, because they symbolize the internal transformations that the characters go through throughout the film and novel, which can be best shown through the character of Trudy.
Oh, Trudy.
Trudy.
From a great character to a terrible one.
Yes, definitely. We can see at the start of the film that Trudy wears all dull and dull colors and an unflattering silhouette. But then when Trudy meets Tilly, Tilly makes her a dress, and from that dress, that dress kind of gives her the confidence that she not really necessarily needs, but needs to make her more confident as a person. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Because I remember she was so nervous before, and you see her there with her messed up hair, her rugged clothing, and she can't even speak to this guy she likes. But as soon as she's wearing that beautiful golden dress and has her hair done up and that red lipstick on, gosh, she just takes him by storm. That's the best way to explain it.
Literally, whole new person, completely. Like,
She
yeah,
just
and
changed
it splatters her
personalities.
body type more. Like, she's
Oh yeah.
literally a completely different person.
Throughout the film, there was also many flashbacks.
Yeah,
And
there
this
are quite a few,
goes back
actually.
to Tilly's past and when the incident happened. The incident of which was what she was accused of murder for, the reason why she was kicked out of Dungata in the first place.
But what's the kid's name? I forgot the kid's name.
Shoot, I don't remember the kid's name either.
It was, what was the Shire president's name? His
There
name
we
was
go.
Stuart! Stuart
It
Pettyman!
was Stuart. It was Stuart.
It was
Okay.
Stuart.
The power of Google, guys.
Continuing on.
It goes to flashback. So she was accused of murdering Stuart, but Tilly cannot remember what happened. It is gone from her memory, and that's the reason why she's coming back to try and piece it together. And we kind of the way that the flashbacks are done is just fabulous with the lighting and the camera work, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you would call it a filter, but like it was more yellowy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an olden day film or something similar to that, and it was really foggy as well.
Yep, and I remember if you don't know if you noticed this, but in the flashbacks, the first original flashbacks, they are all blurry.
Yeah, they're
They're
all
kind of
really
more
foggy.
blurry, less colorful.
I remember
And then-
thinking when I was watching it, I thought that the TV was having problems rendering it because I was watching it on Netflix.
It's like it's deteriorating. And then
Yeah.
as Tilly begins to piece together these pieces, the flashbacks become more visible, like the camera's more focused and it's brighter and more colorful, and it shows the piecing together of her memories perfectly and illustrates it. From her being able to recognize this thing that's deteriorating, falling apart, leaving her memory, to this thing that now she's all of a sudden snapped back into her brain. It's amazing.
It really is amazing, yeah. And there's even like subtle storylines, like additional storylines in the film.
Oh my god, yes. I think it's incredible how they like melded them all in to create this fantastic film. I mean, they don't feel out of place, but it weaves together perfectly.
Yeah, like it makes it fit and it really ties the story together.
I know that it all links into Tilly's main goal, which is her main goal is to find, obviously, as we
established, her main goal is to regain her memories.
These extra storylines pull in lots of comedy and drama into it, which is just fantastic.
Magnificent, absolutely beautiful. Who doesn't love a good old drama?
Yes. I think the more obvious, like, extra storylines would be, obviously, her winning over the town's heart, bringing fashion to it. You know, everybody's eyes are on her once she's making them all dressed up and pretty, from the rugged old, like,
yeah,
disgusting clothes she used to be
absolutely.
wearing.
Like, she brought color and life to the town.
Yeah. And the second biggest one, I have to say, the romance of Teddy.
That's going to be one of the most
God.
important, additional storylines because it builds
100%.
up to, like, it leads to the climax at the end of the film, you know? Like, it's such an important additional storyline.
And now look, I'll just quickly give credit where credit's due. I didn't particularly like what's that Hemsworth brother's name? I know it's a Hemsworth. I don't know what his name is.
It's not Liam? Because it's not Chris.
I didn't particularly like Liam Hemsworth. There's 3 of them, I think.
There's 3. Oh my god! I thought there was only 2.
One of them was in Thor Ragnarok. In the scene, he's playing like Thor in the scene in the play.
Yeah, isn't that Chris? No, wait.
Well, one of that. No, in the play.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen any Avengers. I've never seen Avengers. Never.
It's fine. I'll explain it at another date. But look,
Next podcast.
I didn't particularly like Mr. Liam's Headless in Hunger Games, which is one of my favorite films.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh my god! No!
I haven't seen a lot of films. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna force you to watch The Hunger Games.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Now, I didn't particularly like Liam Hemsworth in The Hunger Games, probably because he played Gale, and I just hated Gale. He was a terrible character. But I will give him credit where credit's due. He was pretty fabulous in this movie.
Yes, he really was. Like, Teddy wanted to prove to Tilly that his love for her was so much greater than the town's hate for her. And, to do that, he jumped into the silo and he suffocated in the sorghum. It was so sad. Yeah, it was such a sad death.
And I think one of the craziest things to that is the foreshadowing for it.
Yeah.
Because earlier in the film, he jumps into the silo.
Yeah, he
when
did.
There's just like, I'm pretty sure
him and his mates
in there with his friends and they're mucking around.
Yeah.
And then he climbs out and then later I was like, oh no. I was like, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Sometimes they can't show this twice in one film and not have something bad happen. Everyone knows not to jump into a silo. And then he died and I was like, I called it.
Yeah, poor Tilly. She was sent into like this rage, shall we call it? Yeah.
I call it that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was... Oh.
Yeah.
And again, she was accused of murder again.
Oh,
because Teddy died for her. Everyone's just like, she's a witch, it was her. Okay, not that they didn't say she's a witch, but everyone thinks she's cursed.
Everyone basically thought that. They were all like, she's evil, we don't like her. I'm pretty sure the only two people who share... Oh, 3 actually. Shoot, it keeps on going up, the numbers, 1, 2, 3. Only 3 people giving her, like, some sort of gentleness was her mother.
Sergeant Farrett and Teddy.
Oh, shoot, yeah, that's 4. Wait, no.
Whoa, what? Who am I missing?
After Teddy died. No, after Teddy died. The only people giving her comfort was her mother, Sergeant Farrett. Mm-hmm. We're gonna forget the fact that I forgot him for a second there. Teddy's mother, and then is it his friend, the one who has the mental illness in the film?
No, that's his brother.
His brother. It is his brother. Okay, I just want to double check. I couldn't remember if it was his friend or his brother. Anyway, his brother. Oh, I'm dying.
No, don't commit a Teddy. At the beginning of the film, Tilly and Molly, Molly is the name of Tilly's mum, they go to the footy match, and at the match, Tilly's wearing this bright red dress, like this beautiful Cruella-esque dress. I love that dress.
It's gorgeous, but guys, remember when this film was set in the 1950s and people are still judgmental
like they're like, ooh, shoulders, ooh,
HE double hockey ticks, and she is there in this dress that is above her ankles and is showing her shoulders
and collarbone.
Guys, it's scandalous.
It's such a scandal. Oh my god, my really avatar. Scandalous. Oh, my shoulders are showing and my ankles, my feet, all my legs. Oh, such a scandal.
and wait for this. She then lays out her chair to go sit in for the footy match.
And when she's adjusting her chair, she's like shaking her tush and everything as well.
Yup. And then proceeds to strip off the red dress to reveal an even more scandalous skinny black one right tight against her body, showing off all her features. And guys, is above her knees. The ankles were too much, and now it's above her knees. And it doesn't even have sleeves on it.
No, wait, didn't she change into the black dress? Like, she went into the...
She did.
Yeah, she changed. Yeah.
And she changes it into this tiny little black dress. But everyone was already looking at her when she was wearing the red dress. And then she turns into the black dress and everyone's like...
And the crazy thing is everyone was shitting on her for it as well. Like, and you're distracting the players. We're going to lose the footy match because of you. And then she goes and changes into the black dress when, like, the players, like, I don't know how footy works. Like, when they switch the sides of where the goals are. And then, like, suddenly all the guys from the other team are distracted by her. And then they're all like, yeah, we won because she wore that scandalous dress and all the mates were looking at her.
Oh yeah. It's 100% my favorite scene. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I was hysterical.
It's just iconic for that.
Honestly. I think that's actually a good time to mention the fact that a whole bunch of Australian actors and then freaking Kate Winslet in there.
Yeah, like she's like the main character. She plays Tilly, and she's not even Australian.
Oh yeah. Like everybody else
A large
there
majority of
is
the cast is
Australian, pretty
Australian,
much.
and then the main character,
Like,
the main actress, isn't Australian.
like pretty much all of them. Like all of the other main characters are Australian actors except for her. But like she nails the accent. She doesn't do the over exaggerated one. She just does this perfect thing. But she also gives it like a little bit of a international like touch, which I mean could just be because she is not Australian. But
then it also works with her character because
because the character lived in freaking
France and
yeah,
Milan?
in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was doing like design and stuff there. So even if it was just the actor's fault that she couldn't do a good accent, which I don't think it was because Kate Winslet is
very talented. I think that's the word you're looking for.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Better than what I used, yes.
It works perfectly with the character. That I just felt like that had to be mentioned, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're still talking about like how it is an Australian film, like they also have like the stereotype of the larrikin. And if you don't know, larrikin, it's an Australian slang term which refers to boisterous and often badly behaved male characters. There isn't...
Did you Wikipedia definition that?
No. Google definitioned it. There's a difference. The larrikin that we can see most, not obviously, but
obviously. Shoved right into your face.
Yeah, that's more noticeable, I guess, is Teddy, because he is a little bit misbehaved. He's a little mischievous, jumping into silos and whatnot.
Getting himself killed for love. How could he?
The audacity, the sheer audacity.
So many characters in this movie just have too much audacity.
I know, right? Oh my god, especially Trudy. Trudy had the audacity. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I could go on about.
We could go on. We could
for like 5 days. Because she starts off as this squeamish little girl, then she's confident and she's so in love with.
And then she like stabs Tilly in the back.
She's basically in love with Tilly all for her dresses, and there's like, actually, yeah, you're a I hate you, but give me all your dresses still.
No, like for real. Like that was like 180. While we're still talking about Australian films and whatnot, it's important for Australian films to be made because they provide new perspectives and stories, as well as portrayal of communities that are all unique to Australia when you compare them to the rest of the world.
I think that Australian films are especially unique because they really focus on features like the landscape, which is very obviously dear to Australian culture, and also I think they really tone in on the Australian culture identity and our big cultural issues, our social issues, because there's not much of it, so when we get the chance to show it off, we show it off, and we show it off good. We do. I think lots of people actually don't like. A few people that I know don't like Australian films because they think it's too over the top. Like, oh, they're making us seem like crazy people, and it's like, okay, but we are kind of crazy.
Yeah, we kind of are. Yeah.
This is our culture is crazy. It's a bit wild. It's a bit, more untamable. Obviously, not everybody's going to be like that. But,
the large majority.
Things that Australians do. Like, we make lots of stuff extra, Like, did you know that the hip hip hooray part at the end of Happy Birthday is an Australian thing only?
Really?
Yep, nobody else says that. That's an Australian thing. Hip hip hooray is Australian.
Oh my god, I thought everyone did that.
I just changed your life, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But yeah, they're so important because it just displays a new, like, rich, bright culture that doesn't have to be, You know, I feel like when everything comes, like, if there was only movies from one part of the world, then everyone would just assume everything is that way, but it's not. Depending on where you live, there's going to be so many different experiences and all this. No matter where you are, everything's going to be different. There will be a few things that are the same.
Definitely.
But there's going to be differences, and I think that's why having movies, not just from even Australia, but from all over the world, are so important, and that we get experience for a whole bunch of things, because it displays to us lots of different, like, cultures and like social issues and stuff. Like there are different social issues no matter where you go. The resolution.
The resolution.
Yes. This is the best. Okay, one of the best parts of the film. I feel like it's a perfect closing segment to the entire thing. We already established that the soccer film is our favorite, but this closing is probably one of the best movie closings I've ever seen.
Yes, definitely. I agree. It's
because
phenomenal.
I feel like lots now. Oh yeah, and I feel like lots of movie clone nowadays, like the endings of movies are very like stereotypical, or like you can tell what's gonna happen. But this one,
it literally it keeps you guessing. I did not see this coming in. I'm normally really good at predicting what happens next in films, books, anything. But this had me completely 100%. Shocked off my rocker, mate.
I think it's very theatrical, you know.
Very.
It's basically Tilly's way, I feel, of pressing the off button on everything.
Because, and like taking her revenge.
Oh yeah.
Her well-deserved revenge.
It did. That I'm pretty sure that's exactly what was running through her head the entire time. Because, you know, she literally revived Dungatar when she returned, you know?
Yeah, literally, she did.
Little town in shambles. And she came back and brought colour and fashion and life to the place. But then, as soon as Teddy...
Yes, as soon as Teddy was gone, they just gave her so much crap again. They gave her so much crap.
They treat her like an outcast again, as you mentioned. Trudy literally is like, okay, I still want your dresses, but I hate you. Bye. And they just try and use her, but then hate on her. And it's, you know, she literally had everything taken from her. Her dresses, her lover, and her mum. Who dies. Her mum dies. I should have mentioned that.
Was it a heat stroke or something? It was a stroke or a heart attack?
Stroke. It was a stroke. Her mum died from a stroke. She just collapsed in the middle of the street.
And no one helped her. No one helped her. There were people watching. And no one did anything.
Yeah. I'm going to cycle back a bit. Before she decides what she wants to do, her mum dies, and that kind of sets off a cycle. So her mum dies, then
this is where stuff gets interesting. Yes. The mass murder, the killing.
Her mum dies, and this is when Tilly starts to get enraged. But then...
Dr. Almanac.
He gets... Basically, there's this running joke in his thing where he can't really walk properly, so he gets pushed across the street to his house with his wife, and she catches him with a pillow. His wife moves out of the way, and he continues running forward, falls in a lake, and
No, she didn't move out the way. She was sitting in her wheelchair just a little bit to the right, and I think she'd been drugged by the brownies that Molly had given her.
Tilly
Molly
made
baked them,
Tilly, in the start of the film, made spiked brownies, and then Molly also made some. Oh, yeah, just quickly, disclaimer, don't do drugs, people.
Yes. We are purely reporting on events that happened in the film. We are not condoning any of these activities.
We're just purely going through the film.
We're just talking facts here.
So Dr. Almanac dies, and that's actually, I remember at the start we mentioned that Sergeant Frat takes the blame for Tilly. This is where it is, because everyone thinks that Tilly, after she's killed Teddy, now she's gone for
allegedly killed Teddy. Allegedly.
She didn't.
It was suicide.
Allegedly killed Teddy. That now she's gone after Dr. Almanac. And he's like, no, I killed him.
It was me, the fabulous sergeant of Dungatar. Look at me. I'm convinced everyone thinks I'm gay because I probably am, but it's never confirmed in the film.
Oh, 100%. Oh, but it kind of is. She literally gifts him a box of fabric, and he's there, and he's like rubbing it over his face.
Yeah, and I think it was like fluffy fabric, like textured fabric, and it was just like, oh.
And then after I remember after he takes the blame for her, that's when Tilly, at that point, she snaps.
She's gone. She snapped.
She had found out from Sergeant Frat that
her father is
the dude she
Stuart's father.
Allegedly killed. Oh yeah, so the kid who she allegedly killed, Stuart, who she didn't. She just moved out the way when he tried to ram her into a brick wall, and then he bashed into the brick wall and died.
He snapped his own little neck. And I think, no, Teddy says, and I quote, he snapped his own stupid little neck. That's what Teddy said.
All this is found out because of Teddy's brother, by the way. Props to him.
Yeah, props to him sitting up on the silo.
Yeah. Oh my god.
At least he didn't jump into it.
Brother died in that silo. Anyway, oh god. Not going to talk about the sadness, but basically, his father
is also Tilly's
Stuart's father is Tilly's father. And
Drama.
So Tilly goes and tells
Marigold.
What's his damn name? Marigold, which is the dude's wife. Yeah, he's actually my dad. And then Marigold's like, I'm sorry, what? She had been being drugged for years by this guy, her husband. And she doesn't take the pills this time. And she peacefully makes him something. I can't exactly remember.
I don't remember what it was.
Stabs him.
Yeah. She stabbed him.
The man.
She cut his what's it? The calf, the bottom of the calf.
Yeah. Yep. So then he couldn't run away.
Yeah.
Smart. Oh, God.
Fun fact. That's actually a weak spot for everyone. If you cut the muscles there, you're gone. You're not going to be able to move anywhere.
We're serial killers, okay?
I learned that from school.
Oh, jeez. I just learned that from true crime videos.
Again, disclaimer, we are just reporting facts.
We're just reporting facts, guys.
Don't call the cops on us. Edit sirens into the video.
Okay. But, yeah, so Tilly tells Marigold murders her husband, and
then who else was killed? Almanac was gone.
The play. We need to discuss the play.
Oh my god, yes,
the best way to describe the play, though. Would you like to describe it? Because I don't know the exact details.
There was like this costume and drama play competition in like I think the next town over. People of Dungatar decided, let's do Shakespeare, blah blah blah, and they had this new like rival seamstress. Her name, I think, was it Uma? I think her name was Uma. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had Uma make the dresses, and they were hideous. They were terrible, absolute rubbish. And
so they turned to Tilly.
Yeah, they turned to Tilly, and Tilly was like, no, get stuffed. After accusing her of murder yet again and treating her like rubbish, they were like, Tilly, please make us new costumes. Umas are terrible. And Tilly's just like, no, get stuffed.
This is why we don't like Trudy, because it was Trudy who was like that. But then, remember, her mother convinces her, Molly convinces Tilly to make them, so she makes terrible ones.
And then Molly also wrote to this other drama club, and like on behalf of Tilly, she wrote to this other drama club and convinced them to participate in whatever the competition was. And so they pull up and they're like, hi, we got your letter. And Tilly's like, what letter? And so she ends up making these costumes, and they end up completely stealing the show. They won. They stole. They quote unquote stole the win from the Dungatar Drama Club or whatever it was. Yeah. And that was just another little part of Tilly's revenge.
Oh, yeah. And at the time that they're out at this play, Tilly is back at Dungatar, and everyone she's ever loved is gone. She's fed up. This town, she gave everything, it's taken everything from her. And so she has her red carpet
She's
moment.
absolutely done. She's literal red carpet.
Down
this whole roll of fabric all the way down the hill from
we should probably explain. Her house is at the top of a hill,
and it's like alone on that hill. It's like all on its lonesome. To like kind of signify how like the town has like outcast Molly and Tilly from the rest of the town.
Because they see them as different.
And so she rolls down from the top of the house. She's covered the house in gasoline, and she's rolled the big red roll of fabric down the hill to the town, and she's covered everything in gasoline. And she's wearing a black dress and black gloves with, I think, a black hat as well.
Funeral. To symbolize the funeral of Dungatar.
Which is different to at the start of the
goodbye.
movie when she returned to Dangata. She was wearing a black dress with white gloves and a white hat.
Which is a surrender color, like a white surrender flag.
But then at
Which I
the
think is
end, she
pretty
was like, no, this is your funeral. If I'm going down, I'm taking you down with me.
And she then lights the red carpet on fire.
And her house blows up into
And
into flames.
The entire town is in flames. And
So they would have had to destroy their
sparking
entire
way
set.
down.
They really only had one take for that scene.
I know, right?
So I'm like,
Oh,
could you
just-
imagine if something went wrong? They would have had to rebuild the entire set.
They might have had backups. They should have.
Yeah, that would have
Or-
been smart to have backups.
I mean, there was a big budget, so you'd
Yeah.
hope so. But she's there strutting her way down. She gets to the train station, hops on the train, and says her final goodbye.
Yeah, and the ticket man on the train's like, where are you headed to, miss? And she's like, I think she said Paris, right? Yeah.
Yeah. She's like,
Uh,
Paris.
And the poor guy's just like, this train goes to Melbourne. And she's like, oh, okay, Melbourne then. And he's like, okay. This poor guy.
It's once again, it's very theatric, it's very over the top, and it's perfectly symbolic of Tilly's personality. And it's a full circle moment, you know?
Quite literally, because she was sent away to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then from there she went to Paris.
You know?
So the film's
I
completely
just-
come full circle, except this time there will be no returning to Dangata. Because there is no Dangata.
There is no more Dangata.
Ba ba ba!
I just think it's such a fabulous film. Props to everybody who worked in it. The set designers, the costume designers, just everyone. It was just so perfect. The colors, the camera work, everything was just perfect, and it flowed very smoothly.
Yes, it did indeed. It was
It's
truly
one
a
of
beautiful and tragic story.
Oh yeah. It's just one of those films you could watch 1,000 times over again and never get sick of.
Yeah, definitely is. So I think we've covered everything now.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And if you enjoyed this,
Thank
make sure that you
you.
like and subscribe. Follow for more. Hit the notification bell.
Bye.
Bye-bye.